the expectation ahead of time was that the United States would turn the government over to the opposition. The opposition is regarded by the United States and many countries as the legitimate government of Venezuela. So that would be a natural thing to do. But that's not what they said. They said the United States was going to run the country and apparently was going to do this through the rump Maduro regime, which would still be in place, but would be acting on the instructions of the United States. The president indicated there would be no U.S. troops on the ground. Not clear how we would get them to follow our direction. Maybe there would be some sort of commissioner on the ground, but lots of unclear details about this transition. And that's what worried me most, and I think many commentators, because we have experience before with overthrowing governments and then not having a good plan for how we were going to run the country, or how the country would be governed afterwards. And this may be another such situation. Well, the administration is not looking at any deployment. Their vision is that they will tell the Venezuelan government what to do, and if the Venezuelan government doesn't do that, then they will strike again, and they will use that threat of a follow-on strike to ensure compliance. President Trump has been quite emphatic about not wanting to have boots on the ground. In order to avoid these kinds of entanglements, I think he's trying to have it both ways with this situation in Venezuela. That is, change the regime in ways that the United States wants, but not put U.S. forces on the ground and risk getting involved in a long insurgency kind of situation. Most of the population lives in the northern tier of Venezuela, where, for example, the capital is. It would be quite possible for a new government to exert its authority where the population is, but then be unable to exert that authority in the hinterland. And in the hinterland, you have gangs, you have cartels, you have guerrillas, so that there's the possibility of a kind of failed state in the hinterland, even as the government runs the areas that are most populated. Who ends up speaking for the Venezuelan government? Is it interim President Rodriguez, or is it the head of internal security and the heads of the armed forces? Who is it that we start seeing making pronouncements about what Venezuela will do and not do? We could see a military coup, or just a soft coup where the military is clearly calling the shots. We'll know that, I think, pretty quickly. And if that's the case, then the administration will be faced with a tough choice, which is to conduct another strike, another set of escalations, or accept the fact that Maduro might be gone, the Venezuelan regime might be a bit more pliable, but the goal of regime change and establishing a more friendly, democratic, successful regime would be unachievable. The president did point to his powers under Article 2. He has argued through this campaign that he is protecting the United States from invasion by cartels and drugs, and that the Constitution gives him the authority to do that. Now, it's a stretch, but it's what the administration's lawyers are arguing, and until it gets in front of the Supreme Court, all you can say is it's controversial, and even perhaps that most of the legal profession believes that this was not legally done. I think it's very unlikely that the United States would do something like this in another South American or Central American country. The administration has not established the case to do that. It hasn't positioned the forces to do that. What you could see are air and missile strikes against drug facilities in these countries. When the president talked about Colombia, he talked about the drug production facilities. The same thing in Mexico. I think both countries are very worried, not that the United States is going to invade, but that you get these missile strikes with the United States arguing that these countries can't control their own territory, that they are allowing drug cartels to operate either willingly or unwillingly, and that the United States has to step in for self-defense.